Hey guys, Joe here. Before I get going, this was at a Dollar Tree in my neighborhood. Not the wiggly finger, but yeah, Christmas stuff on November 1st. Kill me now. It's me, it's Joe, and I'm doing a video today because if you looked at the last video I uploaded, I built the computer for my father in 23 minutes that does work, and he put Linux on it. He's going to use it as an HTPC or just a fun thing. I don't know. I don't know Linux. I really should learn it. He keeps on bugging me to learn it. When people push me to learn things, I don't like to learn it. That's why I'm dumb. After doing that, I decided I want my own HTPC for just easy viewing on their streaming Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Pornhub. Nothing. I decided I don't need anything fancy, so I'm not using like my Z75 motherboard with the i5 processor. I'm not going to use a good graphics card. Decent streaming graphics cards, all you need. Something that does hardware acceleration. And that's what I have here on the table. So let me show you what we're going to use, and then I will get to building it. Like I said in the last video, this is a Gigabyte GA F2A88XM-D3H. It's an FM2 FM Plus motherboard. It supports DDR3 currently installed on it, if it focuses. AMD Athlon X4, I believe that's a 965 or something like that. And I got it with that motherboard, I think. I can't really recall. Because this is just going to be an HTPC, it doesn't need anything fancy. So for power, we have a Cooler Master 500 watt ketchup and mustard power supply, which is fine. We're going to be using my NZXT S340 Elite case. We're going to be using a Zotac GTX 650, excuse me, I said 750, it's a 650 non-TI model. As you can tell by the bracket, I'm going to put the water cooler on there because it's just a slim H60. It doesn't do that well for higher performance CPUs in my opinion, so I might as well use it on something that keeps it quiet. Because I don't do a lot of stored movies and videos and things like that, 250 gigabytes is plenty. I'll put the operating system on there and then just my favorite apps. For RAM, I'm using this stuff. I got it out of another build from somewhere, sorry. And this is Mushkin 2 gigabyte sticks, silver line, so it's their entry level. And you can see the timings there, 99924, 1.5 volt. Perfectly fine for this build. It doesn't need to be anything fancier than that. For DIMM slots, for RAM sticks, match made in heaven. The reason I'm going with this one is because it does have a full-size HDMI. Actually has two of them, which is, I guess, cool. Not that I would ever use them. Hey there, focusing. As well as DVI and DVI-D. This motherboard has all the features that I need for an HTPC. It has front USB 3.0, so I can hook it up to the case. It has rear 3.0. It doesn't have onboard Wi-Fi, but I have an Asus dongle. I guess you'd call it a dongle. I actually have the other part of the dongle with the longer cord so you can mount it somewhere else inside the box. Just need one exhaust fan since I'm going to be water cooling it. Don't need to be bringing in a ton of air. So yeah, that's what that'll be. It's going to go here, exhausting air up, and this will be exhausting the air back there. Since I'm not overclocking it, there's no need to go nutso with the cooling. One thing I did notice in the last video was you could hear above me people walking. It's late at night, so hopefully that will be much mitigated. First thing I'm going to do is actually install the power supply because NZXTs, the H340, the H440, they all have that rear bracket for the PSU. So I need to take the one side off, take the bracket off, and install it. So we'll do that first and come back. I just noticed something in this case that I forgot that I did, and that is I took the standoffs out when I did something to it. I think I did another build and I needed the standoffs. And that means that I will have to play fetch, but no biggie. Take me 10 seconds or 2 hours. Found something else I've been looking for. This is the fan control hub out of an H440 that I took out, and apparently I put in the S340. I don't remember why. It didn't have enough fans. I think it only had like 4. I have the power source installed. I have a hard drive installed, and I have the motherboard installed. It's very important that you use the correct threaded screws. Most people don't realize that, and they'll just cross thread a screw in there thinking that they can just use any of them. There are two types depending on the case manufacturer. That's where a gun bit me. And they are coarse or fine threads. These threads were fine threads, so these threads are fine. And yeah, I'm not going to bother looking for that because this is not a permanent situation. I just want something that sits next to the television and looks decent. Next thing to do is I'm going to connect the front I/O. I'm going to then put in the RAM, the cooler, the graphics card, and an extra fan. I think I'm actually going to put a 120 here. I was going to put one back here, but I'm going to put it here to pull in air because I'm going to have the H60 exhausting up. So we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors. Oh wait, I have no sponsors, so count to one. One thing I thought I'd point out is not all motherboards are laid out the same. That's another thing you run into when you're building a computer. In fact, the CPU and system fan headers are actually down here, and I forgot about that. Not a big deal. I'm just going to have to, run these around the hoses or whatever and tie them in there, but keep that in mind. When you're using an AIO, all-in-one water cooler, you have to plug the pump into the CPU header. Unless your motherboard has a dedicated pump header, and then you can do that. If you don't plug it in there, you're going to get an error when you boot up the system saying, no system fan detected, blah, 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 blibbity blah. In a slight deviation from the original plan, I'm going to actually be mounting the radiator back here, and it's all because I'm using a full-size fan. The fan actually interferes with the heat spreaders on this RAM, and I don't feel like getting a slimline fan, although no, that still wouldn't have done it. It's the same thickness. It's alright though. The way the cables are looks fine to me. A little crossover looks good. And it's going to be sitting up against a entertainment center, so you'll never see that anyways. Probably one of the reasons why NZXT has been so popular with this case, the S340 Elite, is just how easy it is to cable manage in it. Behind this bar there is a cutout, of course, that you can run all your cables in, as well as lots of pass-throughs down there. As you can see, all the wires are going to come up through there for the front I/O, as well as the PCI power for the graphics card. Now, this is the most fiddly part. Thankfully on the Gigabyte board it's all labeled and color coordinated, so it's going to go very easily. After that I have but to put the graphics card in, hook the power up to that, put the USB stick in it, and fire it up. Before I close her up though, I do want to show you how simple the cable management is. That's the bottom of the case, that's the top of the case. As you can see, the NZXT S340 has channels and these nice little clippy things. Now, they can bulge out if you have too many cables running through them, such as if you have like a complicated system, but for this extremely basic system, there's tons of room for everything. Everything tucks away, nothing's in the way. I think this is going to work out perfectly. The screen of large is ready to go. I like that effect. That looks cool. And the computer of here is ready to go. I don't know words. I even got the power light right. Yay! Posted it. I forgot to put in the USB with the Windows 10 on it, and apparently this drive is being a goober, so that needs to be changed. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the blue screen of death, these are the mouse and keyboard cable because I need to find the dongle from my wireless one, or go buy a $9 keyboard mouse combo. So let's boot in, and once I have Windows installed, I'll come back to you. Down here is the finished build, and as you can see, it's got the side glass on it. I have the other side panel on it, so it does look decent. But what we wound up doing was changing out the Mushkin RAM for a single 8GB stick, so it still has 8 gigs, but it's in single channel. But again, for just watching video, that is perfectly fine. In terms of the hard drive, I wound up just leaving the SSD in there and just setting it in there along with the hard drive you see through the grate there, just because spinning hard drives, man, they're just too damn slow for my taste, and I'm tired of it. I'll turn it on so you can hear how quiet it is, and I'll show you what its Cinebench is at. And believe it or not, what you're actually hearing is the graphics card. It's an older graphics card, and even though I have the fan set to 0, it won't spin at 0 RPMs. It actually spins up a little bit. Last time I checked, I believe it was spinning at about 40%. I will point out that realistically, this is only as fast as like an i3, not even a current one. I'm talking like a 2120 that I used to have, or a Q6600 when you overclock it to 3 gigahertz. Yeah, as I was saying, 302, which in this instance is fine. That's good enough. That's all I need. I don't need anything super fancy, super fast, or super awesome. Future Joe here, and yeah, I had to redo this part because it didn't look very good. I was wearing a hoodie and I looked like the Unabomber's slightly brain damaged cousin, although he's very brain damaged because he was a Unabomber. But yeah. Anywho, that was the computer. I have another one put together. That one right there. That's my lunch. But that one right there, that's the i5 3470. That's going to be a test bench. And I'll get to that one here pretty soon as well. But yeah, if you would have done anything different, let me know in the comments what you would have done for just a basic little home computer for video watching, and it's been working great. It's been 4 or 5 days now, so yeah, awesome. You will be seeing a pickup video tomorrow, so awesome, as well as I have to film the finishing of the quarter panel on my father's truck, so I'll do all that and get it uploaded, and you'll see those over the next 7 to 10 days. And as always, I'll talk to you later.